In this lesson, we're going to configure our game to use a remote addressable catalog. And so we are going to be storing our bundles on the Google Cloud Platform. As you can see here, they have a free tier where you're allowed to store data in the cloud for free. Once you've signed up, you're going to want to create a bucket. And we're going to call ours the UI Toolkit course. Go ahead and click create. The defaults are fine. Now we're going to change the permissions and we're going to remove the option that will prevent us from granting public access. And then we're going to add a policy to allow all users to read from our bucket. Now that we've created our bucket, we are going to modify the remote path to use it. And so it's essentially storage.google.api and then / the name of your bucket. Now we're going to create some addressable groups. We're going to call the first one channel. Then we're going to drag all of our channels into the group. Then we're going to create a second group and we're going to rename it to scenes. We're going to drag all of our scenes in there. Now we're going to set the build path to remote and the load path to remote for each of the two groups. Now we're going to open up our settings and we're going to make sure that the build remote catalog is checked. And then we are going to set the build and load paths to the remote path. Now we want to make sure we use existing build. And then we are going to select new build. Now we can find the bundle files at this directory. So now we're going to go to the GCP platform and then we're going to upload the folder. Now that that's done, we can go ahead and click build settings and we'll add our entry point as the first scene in the build. And then we're going to execute build and run and select our build folder. Whenever you run into issues with builds, you can find the logs in this directory. Your user home directory /app data /local low and then the company name. We're getting an access denied exception, so let's investigate. Back in GCP, it's showing our public access as not public. I was able to resolve the issue by recreating the permissions. I'm not exactly sure why it didn't work in the first place. Now we can try again by double-clicking the .exe file. And it still doesn't appear like our UI is loading, so let's investigate that. Now, unfortunately, whenever you make a change to a remote catalog, you have to rebuild the bundles and upload them to the Google Cloud Platform. And then you want to make sure you run build and run. And we still have an issue, and so let's take a look at the logs. The solution was to go to project settings, and then in the graphics tab, we manually included the UI runtime shader. Now if we click the executable again, you can see that our UI renders.